everybody is always asking, how could you trade Berlin for Belgrade? Easily. Easily. I don't regret anything.
Meet Liza. She was born in Bulgaria and later moved to Germany, where she lived for 18 years while working at one of the largest architectural firms in the country. 3 years ago, she moved to Belgrade, Serbia, with her Serbian husband and gave birth to 2 sons here. She shared how the roles of men and women in Serbia differ from those in Western countries, what it was like to give birth in a Serbian state hospital as a foreigner, and why she believes Belgrade is the second Berlin. Enjoy!
Did you have any expectations before you came to Serbia? What did you know about Serbia before you came?
You know, this sounds very strange because like we are neighbor countries, but I come from the seaside, which is like maximum distance to Serbia. So I really had never ever had any contact with Serbia. I actually just heard some turbo folk songs, or I had eaten like Srpska skara, because in Bulgaria, if you want to say that you are offering some very high quality meat, you say Srpska skara and that's it.
Aha, interesting.
So I really knew nothing about it. I let myself be surprised by reality.
What was your biggest cultural shock here?
Being myself from Balkan, I think I didn't have some very big cultural shock.
You knew everything before.
No, but I didn't know everything. There was one thing that really surprised me. Like every time that I introduced myself and I said I'm Bulgarian, like people, oh really? And there is this joke, I don't know if you know it, that the Bulgarians would always stick you with a knife in the back.
Why?
I didn't know that as well.
I think it's related to
our common history.
Yeah.
Because of the Balkan wars that we had here.
Totally, yeah.
Yes, and that's why there is this saying that Bulgarian would always stick you a knife in the back. But I think the biggest victim of this joke is my husband, because like all of his friends are warning him not to sleep with the back to me because he may not wake up.
Okay.
So, you know, my biggest shock was that I didn't know that I'm such a badass in their eyes.
What's the difference between Serbian people and people in Western Europe?
The Serbs are more, they are accepting the fact that we are not self-sufficient. And I think, you know, makes the very big difference from which everything starts. Because in the moment that you think that you're self-sufficient, or you're taught to be self-sufficient, how the Western society works, you become a little bit more egocentric. You start relying on yourself exclusively, and you start thinking of yourself exclusively. And that changes your way of communication with the world in general. And here it's not like that. Like from the beginning itself, you know you're not self-sufficient. Because maybe life is not so easy, because maybe life is not so well arranged, you know that sometimes you will need help from this person, sometimes help from that person. And that's a natural way that things happen here. So from very early age, people start developing another kind of relationships. Like they build much more tight relationships, and they learn that the world doesn't evolve around them. And for me, that's the big game changer. That's the biggest difference between Western world, Germany and so on, and Serbia. And I think, you know, that makes people here more resilient, because they know they can cope up with everything. They know they can deal with everything, and that gives them a lot of self-confidence, and they show that. And that's good. Because, you know, once you show you're self-confident, you can deal with things, that gives the other person or other persons or community some kind of security, a feeling of security. And on the other hand, if you're alone, you know that you're alone, maybe you don't feel so sure you can handle with all the problems, and you become a little bit more anxious, a little bit more insecure, and that's what you communicate to the world. What you communicate to the world, that's the vibe that you give to the world.
Is it difficult for you to integrate in Serbian society?
No, but I realized that I am the one who should take the active steps for that. Because maybe in the beginning I was expecting that somebody would integrate me, but yes, that happens to a certain level. Of course, if you go with some people out and for coffee and so on, everybody's communicating in a very friendly way and that's it. But if you want to go a step further, you have to do the step yourself. And then it works. But this is the realization that I needed some time for.
Oh, interesting. I had quite the opposite impression, because for me it was like Serbs force you to communicate with them.
In shops, in the market, and some like this kind of small talk, definitely. But I mean, if you want to bring your communication to another level, to a deep friendship, then this is the step that you have to do, and then it works.
I know that Serbs, they are very spontaneous.
Yes,
you know, they
definitely.
can call you and they can say "Idemo na kafu," and just like this, you are now with you work, and then you're sitting in kafana.
True, and honestly, I was not prepared for that. because I had been living like 18 years in Germany, and I was like much more like scheduling everything. Like my whole day was somehow planned. And if it was not planned, even if it was not planned, I was not so ready for let's do something now. So this was really something that I had to adapt to, being so spontaneous. I mean, it's beautiful, I love it, but for me it was, I had to break myself a little bit to that.
Ti pričaš srpski veoma brzo, veoma lepo. A kako si učila srpski jezik?
Kroz ljubavi. Znaš šta, ja sam u principu iz Bugarske i upoznala sam mog muža koji je Srbin, upoznali smo se u Berlinu. I kada mi je rekao onda iz Srbije, ja sam rekao, pa super, mi možemo da pričamo naš jezik i da se razumemo, hajdemo. Ali realnost je bila, počeli smo onda pričati srpski, ja da pričam na bugarskom i nismo se uopšte razumeli. Tako da, apsolutno nije bilo moguće, kao ima jedinične reči koji možeš da razumeš, ali ne možeš uopšte da provedeš neku smislenu konverzaciju. Tako da smo se oboje veoma razočarali. I ja sam mislila, hajde, onda naučit ću ja srpski. I krenula sam da učim i na početku sam mislila, to je baš lako, neće biti to meni teško. Ja ću za 2 mjeseca da pričam kao da sam odavde. Ali ništa od tome. Ja već živim 3 godine tu i još uvijek, mislim, promašim neki padeži i tako dalje. Bilo je veoma teško, moram da priznam. Ali zbog ljubavi, zbog život tu, naučila sam, uzimala sam časove kod nastavnika. Ja sam primetila, ne mogu ja da naučim jezik stvarno da pričam pravo, ako samo slušam i ponavljam stvari. Ja moram stvarno da naučim strukturu, gramatiku i to mora neko da mi objasni. A Srbi sami, oni naravno ne mogu to tako dobro da objasne ili prosto ne žele. I oni uvek kažu, pričaš ti super, hajde. Ali ja sam nekako veoma ambiciozan čovjek. Ja želim kada pričam, već da pričam kako treba.
Aha.
I zbog toga sam odlučila, uzimala sam časove, možda da godinu dana sam uzimala časove.
Ja sam učim srpski 2 godine i imamo isto čas u nedelju.
Da.
Ali ja pričam loše nego ti.
A jesi ti srpski zet?
Ne. Ne.
Vidiš, to
je važna stvar.
Jer mi kod kući na početku smo pričali nemački, prosto da bismo se razumeli. I lagano smo prosto prešli na srpskom i sad već pričamo samo srpski.
A koji je tvoja najomiljena reč na srpskom jeziku?
Teško jer nekako meni srpski, moram da priznam, mi je baš simpatičan jezik. Jer nekako mi je mnogo kao bugarski, osjećam se kao da pričam svoj jezik, osjećam se kao u svojim vodima, ali je mnogo melodičniji nego bugarski. I nekako malo je dramatičniji, tako da ja baš volim srpski, imam mnogo omiljene reči. Ali sad spontano mi pada na pamet ajmo. To je samo jedna reč, a uključuje toliko puno stvari i to je kao taj srpski spirit, kao hajdemo, ali kao mi, svi, ne samo ja, mi svi i let's do it, let's go, let's do it, let's go. Srbi su nekako toliko dinamične, ekspanzivne ljudi koji kao odluče nešto i to rade i samo kaže ajmo, idemo. I to mi se nekako baš... Na primjer, na bugarskom mi nemamo ta reč. Mi imamo hajde, ali to je malo anonimnije. Kao hajde možeš da kažeš ja, i ti, i mi, i ne znaš šta točno uključuje.
Za mene to je bio isti utisak o srpskom jeziku, što on je više muzikalan nego ruski.
Znaš šta, ja sam razmišljala oko tome jer ja sam ipak 19 godina živjela u Bugarskoj, 19 u Nemačkoj i poslije sam se doselila tu, kao dugo sam živjela u inostranstvu. I sa drugim strancima sam isto pričala da ti na različite jezice imaš različiti glas. I to je malo vezano sa tim koja tvoja personalnost se projavlja. Da li si malo više kao dete? Kao ja na bugarski sam malo više kao dete jer tam mi je detinjstvo. Na nemački sam malo više kao profesionalac jer tamo mi je kao radno iskustvo. To mi je bio akcenat života tamo. A na srpskom nekako sam kao odrasli čovjek, odrasla žena. A isto, prosto ljudi tu tako pričaju, i žene, i muškarci imali taj dubok glas. I ti ako želiš da se osjećaš kao deo njima, ti moraš nekako isto da ideš na tu intonaciju.
Ok, your srpska snaja. How it's to be srpska snaja?
It's amazing. You know, we don't have such a big family, but what I noticed, immediately all of my husband's friends, even we were not married yet and so on, started calling me Snajka. So you're Snajka now, our Snajka, this and this and this, like my mother-in-law immediately calling me Snajka and so on. So this immediately gave me the sense of belonging, like they accept me, I do belong here and I am a part of this society, and of course this gives you also the strength. I have these people on my back. That's great. And I do have it. I know that there are so many people I can rely on here.
Was it difficult to integrate into the family with customs, this
No,
kind of...
no. I felt immediately accepted. Everybody loved me from the beginning because I think to some very big extent they admired my step coming from Berlin to Belgrade. Like this, they saw it maybe like a kind of compromise that I'm doing with myself, which I didn't see like that. But they're like, oh my God, she's doing such a big step for our boy, like my husband, and we have to respect that, and it's amazing. I mean, it's not like that. I did it for myself as well, but I feel a big respect for this from them. And that's how, I think maybe also that's why they immediately gave me some very big feeling of love and respect and kindness and acceptance.
Have you experienced any kind of differences between you and your husband in everyday life, cultural differences?
With cooking, for example, and food, yes, there is a big difference because we in Bulgaria and in Germany, I would say we are same, Bulgarians and Germans, we don't have that special attitude to food. Here, food is God. Cooking, eating is like a very important thing. And attitude to cooking and attitude to eating is very, very high up there. So that is something that I had to accommodate with. Now I started really appreciating it and so on, but this is a difference that I noticed immediately. Another thing that I noticed is attitude to life and attitude to roles in the family. Because after I had lived so many years in Germany, and this was like my active years, like being in partnerships and so on, I was used to that idea that we're equal, we are same, everything is 50-50, we are partners in crime, we are partners in everything. Like, that was my mindset without even thinking about it. And when I got here to Serbian lifestyle, I noticed it's different here. Like, a woman is a woman and a man is a man. We have different roles. We're equal, we have same rights, but we definitely have the different roles. And now I really started appreciating that a lot. Like, it's amazing. Women are a little bit more supposed to bring that kind of soft energy in the family, in the relationship and so on, but men are really there for them. Serbian men take action and take responsibility for their action. And they don't expect for their wives to do always the action and to do always the responsibility for their action. Like, they are splitting the responsibility as well. I mean, they are taking a very big part of it. And this is just amazing. And this feels very right at some point. Because you know, love is not just being partners in 50-50 in every situation and so on. Sometimes the one person can do more, sometimes the other person can do more. And you have really different qualities and different roles. And understanding that, like people on Balkan do that, make your life much easier and much more comfortable and much more feeling yourself.
So you became more traditional than
I wouldn't
after
say
you
more
came.
traditional. I would say I became a little bit softer.
Personally, I became more traditional here, and I wouldn't expect for me to switch in this direction. I just seen how people live here, you
Yes.
know, and this itself is very good justification for this.
You know, I know what you mean, and yes, I agree with that, because seeing how people value their families,
Yeah.
they value their family traditions, their family holidays, they value each other for, this is my wife, and somebody is proud of you being their wife, or these are my children, and I'm proud of these kids being my children, no matter what kind of nonsense or tantrum they're having right now. This is something that I saw here, actually, and I really do appreciate it.
You are a mother of two. What do you think about parenting in Serbia? Is it easy to be a parent in Belgrade?
It's paradise. It's paradise. You know, this is one of the main things I love in Belgrade, and I wouldn't want my children to grow anywhere else. Attitude to people here, to children, is just amazing. Like, children are God. And maybe sometimes people think this is spoiling them, but I don't think it is. Like, you know, my children or any children here, they are welcome everywhere. Like, people are looking at them, they're playing with them. No matter how much they cry, maybe they put something on the, they split some glass on the floor or whatever. That's fine, it's okay. Like, people are just cleaning and keep playing, guys. And that's just so good for their health. They have a sense of freedom. They are growing up fulfilled or surrounded by love and care. When we go to the playground, for example, to some cafe, like, people love them there. Like, they know the people who work in the cafe already by names, and they love playing with them. This would have never happened in Germany or anywhere, I guess in Bulgaria as well.
Why it's not happening?
I think it's the same topic about egocentrism and self-sufficiency. Because when you think that you're self-sufficient and when you have the feeling that the whole world revolves around you, some screaming children there playing stupid, silly games are just irritating you. because you're focused on yourself and you think everything that I do now, maybe it's reading a book, maybe it's drinking my coffee, maybe it's just thinking about something, is the most important thing on the world, and I don't want to distract myself with that. And this is now some distracting factor and stressing me out, and I don't want to have it there, it's bothering me. Maybe I will not say anything, but internally I will not tolerate it. And you would feel that vibe as a parent, as a child, or as an anything. Here, people who are in the cafe or anywhere, they're just there and here and now. And they're open to anything. They're open to you if you sit on the next table and say hello. They're open to your children who are maybe playing there, and you just become one. You communicate and you just enjoy this time right now. You know, you're not focused on the past, on the future in my thoughts. You're focused on here and now. And that's what makes the main difference. That's why they're so open and communicative and filled with love and understanding about everything. I mean, even in the supermarket, I'm never waiting when I'm with the kids. Even there is a huge queue waiting there, everybody would let me go. This happens never, ever in the world.
You gave birth here in Serbia. What was your experience?
I know there are people who made very negative experience, and I just don't want to comment on that, because everybody can speak for themselves and everybody has their own truths and they have the right to have their bad experience as well. So I don't want to comment on that. I can comment on my experience only. And for me, this was a very big topic. Should I give it here or in Berlin? I was very much thinking about that. And when we decided that I want to give birth here, most of my friends, family thought I'm crazy. I was not sure myself if I'm crazy or not, but that was the decision, and I don't regret it even for a second.
Did you give birth in a state clinic? Or?
Yes, I did, because I had no choice. In the beginning, we thought, okay, let's do it here in Serbia. Logistically wise, it's easier. We have the family here who will help. It's just amazing infrastructure, and we want to use that here. Of course, there are the private hospitals that are amazing, and I will go there, and that's great. There I had a very, very bad experience, because shortly beforehand, the private hospital told me that I have some minor health complication. That was really a minor health complication. And that's why they don't want to take any risks with me, and I just have to go to any state hospital. But then, of course, I already say our because he became our family friend, my gynecologist, said, okay, no worries, you don't have to think about anything, I'll take care of you. Anytime you start giving birth, you just go to the hospital that I work, and for my great luck, it's an amazing hospital, and then we'll take care of you. And that's what happened. I went there, and I was so well taken care of. I mean, I had a doctor on my side all of the time. In Germany, this is not the case. You have only midwives, and not all of the time you're alone, and so on. I had a room of my own. The doctor was texting my husband all of the time what is going on. I really felt like I was in the best hands I could be ever. I felt so sure, I felt so well prepared for everything. I was so well taken care of. And both of the times, it was similar experience. Like after this first experience in the state hospital for the second birth, I was like, okay, I go there for sure. Again, I don't want to go to a private hospital because I want to have the same treatment. You know, maybe how was it called? The rooms are not the cleanest, the bathrooms are not the best, not the most modern ones. You can live with that. It's just 2 or 3 days in that hospital, but the attitude that I got was just perfect. I would do that again. In Western countries, like I can say about Germany because I have friends who gave birth there, you don't get so well taken care of. You don't get medications if you want to get medications. You don't get the anesthesia if you want to get the anesthesia. You're not so respected actually there. I know it sounds paradoxically, I know it sounds strange, like I was also not prepared for that, but here you have the right to say, I want this and I want it, I want that. And people respect you and give you that.
It's interesting and surprising for me because I have heard a lot of horrible reviews about state medicine in Serbia from Russians who gave birth here.
I know.
They try to avoid it by any cost, you know?
I had the very big luck with my gynecologist, and I think that's a thing in Serbia as well, the personal factor. If you know someone, you can get through anything. And I had the luck to just get to know this doctor like really by chance. I didn't Google him, I just got him scheduled in the state hospital. And he was an amazing guy, and we built a relationship that I could rely on all of the time and afterwards as well. And I think there is one more thing. I think in the hospital, most of the staff were also very surprised that I'm a foreigner and I'm giving birth there, and I think they respected that very much. I think they also respected my attitude because I was not demanding anything. I was not saying, this is not clean, I want this service and I want that and I want that. You know, I was very thankful. They're taking very good care of me. And they have very good attitude to me, and they responded me with the same. Yeah, I also know many cases when people go there with expectations, with having the same hospitals like in the Western world. Okay, you don't. It's not the same. It is not the same condition. It's not possible. You cannot have that. And when you accept that fact that you cannot have that, it is that what you can get, take it or leave it, then you can get something more out of the whole situation. I also have respect for the people who worked in the state hospitals. I mean, these guys are really crazy professionals. They're doing insane things for such small salaries. And they give you personal attitude, although there are 20 more women they are giving birth beside. They're managing to give, well, me, they gave personal attitude. So I really respect that.
Your everyday life changed a lot since you moved out from. How it's changed? What do you think about pizza? Where do you buy your produce?
Of course, the pizza. Yes, this is also something new for me. When I lived in Germany, there was a supermarket in the ground floor of my building, and I bought absolutely everything in the supermarket 5 minutes before closing. Here, of course, we're going on the weekend to the piazza, we're going with the kids, we're buying some stuff, then we're having coffee or lunch or something. We're making an event out of it. And of course, this brings a totally different vibe into your life. It gives it much more value. Like you live your life, for the pleasure, for your family, and not just for your career.
How has your attitude changed towards career goals, towards your work after being for 3 years in Serbia?
Earlier, I had all the time in the world to stay until 10 o'clock in the evening if I want to do in the office, and I would do that, and it was fine. Now I don't. I have the kids waiting there for me, I have my husband waiting there for me, and I think that's actually a great thing, because now maybe I have 4 or 6 or 8 hours, and that's it. I have to do my job for this time amount, and I want to do it. Like, I'm still the same person, I want to do my job in a perfect way, and I will put much more effort in much less time, so I have become, I guess, much more efficient in everything that I'm doing. Living in Serbia, I realized there is so much more to life than work. So I started taking my time for life, but I still want to have the same good results. So I think that's a very good thing, actually. I'm much more motivated to do the same quality of work in less time. So I think it's a very good move, actually, because it's a win-win situation.
You are an architect, and what do you think about architecture in Belgrade? Do the city have its own style, and if it has, what is the style?
Brutal.
Brutal?
It is, because the city has many styles, but only one of them is like really distinguished. I think the post-war architecture in Yugoslavia, like the brutalism, is the more distinguished architecture style in Serbia, and from brutalism in general, like in Europe, I would say. For me, this Serbian brutalism is the best example. And you can truly see it in New Belgrade. This is where I live, by the way. I love brutalism, to be honest, because for me, this is exactly the picture of Serbian spirit. It like states itself, I'm here, this is what I am. Maybe I'm not beautiful, maybe I am, but you don't have to like me. I'm controversial, I have my own statement, and that's it. And this is exactly brutalist architecture. There is always a sign about something. It's never a no-name architecture. It is always very sculptural. It is like always very impressive. It is usually a very big size, like the scale is very big. And it is always like making a statement. And you can never stay indifferent to it. Like, I know many people don't like it, but I myself somehow truly like it. Like, look at New Belgrade. I don't know how much experience you have, but you have these wide streets. Everything is very well structured. You can find anything. You can always find a parking lot. And when you think when this was planned, like 70 years ago or something like that, 70 years ago, they planned so many parking lots that even now I can always find a parking lot in front of my building.
As opposed to old side of the city.
Yes, this can ruin your weekend if you start searching for a parking lot in the city center. This is like Mission Impossible.
Yeah, totally.
And I really like that kind of big scale architecture because you have very much space in between the buildings. You have very much green surfaces in between the buildings. It gives you a sense of freedom. You can really breathe there.
What do you think about Belgrade na Vodi?
I think that maybe life there can be very comfortable, because you have everything there. You have very good infrastructure. You go out of your flat and you're on a very beautiful promenade on the Sava River, and this can be an amazing experience. But as an architect, I think this is a crime. I have no words. My first impression from Belgrade na Vodi was in the night we were driving into Belgrade, we were moving in here. And I really didn't see it. I just saw the big city lights, the promenade, the river, and I thought, oh my God, that's amazing. That's a really big metropolitan city. I love it. And then some people ask me, what do you think about Belgrade na Vodi? And I said, yeah, nice, big city feeling. And everybody was looking at me, really? And then some days afterwards, I went there during the day. Okay, first thing. Like from very far, you see the very cheap material that has been used for these buildings. I mean, why? Second, the quality of implementation is really not that high. And third, which is definitely not last actually, I don't see the plant there. I don't see the urban plant behind these on chance thrown volumes there. Because why? There are so many high buildings like hiding up from each other in a different style. There is no concept that could be useful for the pedestrians or the people living there. You could have done it in a much different way that everybody who lives there has a kind of water view, for example. Now it's not like that. The highest buildings are up front, behind them are some small buildings that have nothing from being on that amazing location. I don't see, like, this is exactly the opposite of New Belgrade. I don't see the big idea there.
I haven't thinking about it in this way.
And not even the big idea. Let's say there is no big idea, but where is the structure of it? I don't see a logical urbanistic structure behind this substance. This is really such a pity because the location is amazing.
What is your favorite building in Belgrade?
I'm now very tempted to say Genex, of course. But
Everybody loves it.
Everybody loves it. Let's say something different. I recently made a painting out of this Karaburma building. Its nickname is the Toblerone. It is a high-rise building. It has an extremely complicated geometrics. What I read that the Karaburma from the Turkish means something like, it's a controversy what exactly it means, but one of the interpretations is like a black twist. It's like a black turning point, twisting point, and this high-rise building is like a twist of some triangle volumes around its height. So it's somehow such a great matching of the meaning of its place and this geometric volume like a sculpture.
10 years ago, we were very frequent visitors with my wife to Berlin. Berlin is, for us, was a great city with great nightlife, with great concerts, with great clubs. Now, for me, Belgrade reminds Berlin. What do you think about it?
Exactly. Like my husband and I were talking with friends, and I don't know what exactly the conversation was. And they were like, everybody is always asking, how could you trade Berlin for Belgrade? I mean, easily. I don't regret anything. What was Berlin 15, 20 years ago is now Belgrade. You know why? Because it has this income of so many young, motivated, different people that bring their vibe with them, and they're really changing the face of the city. This makes a very big difference to the city, because I came right with this wave, like this is a total coincidence, but I came with this wave of the Russians who came to Berlin.
To Belgrade?
Yes. Yeah. So I could really literally follow this change. Now, this is a very, very stupid example, but there are so many international restaurants that opened up in this period of time. Like when I came in the beginning, there were almost no Asian restaurants. Now you can find amazing ramen, you can find amazing sushi, you can find anything. I'm really fascinated by how vibrant the city becomes. I mean, of course, nightlife, music and so on, it has always been here, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just a very nice add-on that I really now can witness.
Yeah, you came here with a lot of Russians.
Yes.
And it was a tough time because prices skyrocketed.
Yes, exactly. Searching for a flat in Berlin is tougher than searching for a flat in Belgrade, I can say that.
Even with Russians?
Yes. But it's not more expensive. Like, meanwhile, I have the feeling the prices are the same. Like renting a flat here and renting a flat in Berlin. Yes, I think so. I think so.
What do you feel when you come back to Germany?
Tension.
A lot of tension.
I feel a lot of tension. You know, I have my job there, I have my friends there, and it's a little bit like home, but it's only a little bit fragment of home for me there. I know that when I come there, it's a very small bubble that I can spend my time with, in just a couple of days that I can spend well there. And then I'm looking forward to come back here, because when I come here, I feel relief. I feel home. I can relax.
What is the most valuable thing that you found in Serbia?
the most valuable thing that I found here is what I call it the Serbian spirit. And this is something that I can really profit from. The valuable thing is just to see how people stand up for their ideas, how resilient they are, how tough they are, and how they don't give up on things. Because I think when I used to live in Germany, I was much more mellow, much more soft. If an idea that I had wouldn't come true, I would think to myself, okay, then maybe it was not meant to be, let's try something else, and so on. Here, it's such a great value for me to learn that I learned to stand up for my ideas and for my opinion. If something didn't work, then push harder, try again and again and again, and then it will work out. This resilience, this is for me the most valuable thing.